already that was already sent to me in advance, so I will share that. It's actually for Theresa Vermillion. But yeah, so absolutely. What we're going to do is just tell us a little bit about the problem that you solve. How do you help your clients? Um, and then I think that will spark some, okay, this is what I need help with.
Okay. So what I've noticed in the networking that I do out here, first of all, thank you, Carol, for having me here, and it is an honor to be on the stage with Melissa, Teresa, and Shannon as well. So thank you. I appreciate that opportunity. As a new person to your group, Always Been Creative is a Long Island, New York-based company. I'm about 30 miles outside of New York City, and being a New York area person pretty much for my whole life. My message is for my clients and my sales and marketing consulting is all about messaging, because I've noticed over the last 5 to 7 years, as I've done extensive networking here in Long Island and now I see around the world, we as people seem to have issues with public speaking. And when you combine that with the fact that we have a difficult time figuring out exactly how we need to introduce ourselves to the world, it creates a difficult situation for us as listeners to try and understand what you're endeavoring to do and how you're trying to succeed in your business. So, what I typically tell people is if your message isn't crystal clear, we don't know how to interact with you, or if your message isn't for us, we won't know how to refer people to you. And those are two key things that people lose in the sauce when they're doing their pitch, when they're doing their introductions. And so the tip that I'd like to offer everybody up today is really simple. Remember, when you're doing your pitch, just keep it at a little bit of a taste for what you do, as opposed to giving us the entire thing and trying to cram it into 30 or 40 seconds. And just a brief visual example. When in the old days and going forward again, you walk through your local mall and you go by the food court. At the food court, they give you a little taste of that shake. They give you a little taste of that energy drink, or a little taste of the Chinese food, or of the Cinnabon. They don't give you the whole drink. They just want you to get that taste. So if you'll use that visual and think about that when it comes to how you're pitching your business, just give us a little bit about what problem you solve or why we need to know more about it, and leave it with that so that we want to follow up with you afterward and you don't have to go into all kinds of details. And just one other tip real quickly. Lose the big words. When you put big words into your elevator pitch, the first big word causes our brains to pause and start considering that word. Now, when you continue with your pitch, our brains are trying to frame the definition of that word. If you throw a second one in there, it's another stop for us. And by the time we figure out what those two words mean with regard to your business, the pitch is over and we haven't heard the rest of it. So keep it super simple and just a taste. That's what I'd like to add for today.
That's fantastic. Great, great tips. Yes, keep it super simple, right? And that's what the KISS, keep it simple, stupid, or something like that. But
I'm a little more polite.
I think so.
Keep it simple, sweetie.
What's that?
Keep it simple, sweetie.
I love that.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Well, since we have Teresa's beautiful face here, we're going to pass the mic over to you, Teresa, with your tips.
Thank you, and
Yes.
thanks for putting this together. Of course, Carol, and everything that you do, and for creating this group. It's so dynamic and so wonderful, and I see people get so much value out of what you have created. And just the beautiful example you are of having that dream and putting it into action is really, really amazing. So I am Theresa Vermillion, leader in the personal development area and lighter life coach that I created. I am a life coach and I specialize in helping women in the wellness and weight loss area. But I do believe that, if we are stuck in one area of life, it affects us in all areas of our life. So really helping women go from that stuck, struggling, overwhelmed to a lighter life, which gets you that lighter body, kind of flip what the whole diet and fitness industry tells you should be doing to be healthier. So that has me super excited. The tips then as an entrepreneur I have would be to remember to have fun. There are a lot of spinning plates and a lot of things we need to learn and figure out as we go through this really fun journey. Just remember this journey, remember to have fun with it. It is, you need to believe in yourself and make that decision that when it gets hard, when you don't know what to do next, that you're going to figure it out and keep going, because it's only over when you quit. It's only over when you quit. Everything else you just can figure out and get help with.
I love that. And you're right, it's only over when you quit, right? So keep going is Theresa's message here, is to keep going on your entrepreneurial journey. You're on the right path, especially if you do believe in yourself, believe in your products, your goods, your services that you're offering, and the right people are going to see it with the right messaging. All right, Melissa, I'm going to pass the mic over to you.
Hey, entrepreneurs, business owners, solopreneurs, I get it. It's hard work running and operating your own business, and I can attest to that. But it's even harder when you turn 30 and decide to go back to college and get your teaching degree as an IT high school teacher. So I did that for a while until, as Carol alluded to, I owned and operated 2 public golf courses, because why not? It's like a pair. So as I left teaching only 7 years into my career, I went into the golf course business, and I recognized that women didn't even know about the game of golf. Basically, they were just thrown out there with a significant other, husband, girlfriend, whatever, and they tried to play. So a good friend of mine says, teach others how to play. So I did. I'd been working with my own coaches along my journey. So I recognized as I was teaching these women about the game of golf, they were treating their life the same way. How you show up on the golf course is how you're showing up in business and life. And so as I started creating this Find Your Own Drive curriculum to help women on and off the golf course, in 2017, we sold the businesses. We were out of the golf course business. If you're a golfer, you know it's tight, it's tough, it's a struggle. And when you're at the mercy of the weather, it's a whole new ballgame. So 2018, go back to work for other people. And then I realized, wow, this is really challenging for me, but my passion is teaching, and I want to get back into the possibilities of teaching others on their journey as well. So I support men and women on their entrepreneurial journey and their businesses so that they can navigate those struggles and those stumbling blocks that just continually to come up that you're faced with. You know how you start lacking the clarity and the confidence, and you're like, if only I have the right support, if I could pay the right person, pay the right coach, buy the right thing, and like a magic pill, it would all be solved. I did all that. I've got millions of dollars at this point because the golf courses, right? So I can say I've invested millions in my own journey. So I have these strategies. Doing it alone is, great in theory. But when you really try to do that, you start finding yourself becoming paralyzed, feeling that you have these great ideas, but no way, no strategy to implement them, or you're just simply, lacking the tools or the resources to grow. Oh, and then life gets in the way. So that's what I bring you. I am the business and life coach that you've been looking for. If you find yourself resonating with anything that I just said to you about clarity, support, because we get laser focused, we build your confidence, and we build that roadmap so that you can scale and be successful in your business. My 3 tips for you are, it's always progress over perfection. Mm-hmm. Align with the solution, not the problem. And out of any situation, good will come.
That's fantastic. Really fantastic. I love it, love it, love it. And you're right. We all need tools, resources, and support systems, and we cannot do this alone, right? So thank you so much. I so love and appreciate you, Melissa. And I cannot wait to open this up for Q&A. So everyone, make sure you're logging your questions that you want to ask Glenn, Theresa, and or Melissa, and because they are ready for you. I'm going to pass the mic over to Shannon, 5-Star Social Media.
Hi, everybody. I'm so happy to be here, and I'm excited to be part of the first Power Hour. So that's such a great idea, Carol. You're always coming up with new innovative ways to kind of keep us engaged, and that's really important in today's day and age. And the tip that I've really wanted to share right now is to have someone that's close to you look at your social media. So as a social media expert, you know, I train business owners how to utilize social media effectively for their business. And so many people are just not confident with just the basics of how to do what they need to do on social media. They know they need to do it, but the how is the difficult part. So that's what I help you with, is teaching you how to do the how and learn whatever platform you need to learn. But one thing that I see all the time is that people just haven't looked at some of their social media profiles for a long time. And you can also get lost in what you think your social media should be. So I say, have a friend at least once a year, or a family member, someone that you can count on to be honest with you, who's not just gonna tell you what you want to hear, but have them look at your social media profiles and give you some feedback, so that you're going to be able to take that feedback and really help clean up your accounts. And that is really crucial, because if you have a social media account that hasn't been used for a long time, you know, people will say, oh my gosh, I created my LinkedIn 30 years ago and I haven't looked at it since. Then guess what? You know, that's representing you, that's representing your business. And if it's not up to date, if the information is outdated, if it's not current with your current branding, then that's really not the impression you want to be giving people. And that's not the image you want to be creating. So once a year, have someone that is ruthlessly honest look at your social media and just give you some feedback, so that you can maybe update photos, delete pictures. It might be that you have a profile picture from 20 years ago in which you look beautiful, but does not look like you anymore. So take that time, update your images. If you need to get 1 or 2 new headshots, do that, so that you are presenting yourself in the world of social media the way you want to be presenting.
That's fantastic, Shannon. And you're absolutely right. Everything, I mean, all of our social media channels are leaving a digital blueprint, right? Of who we are, what we do, our values, our beliefs. It is so important, as you mentioned, to do that at least once a year, maybe even twice a year, a social media audit. You know, are you on track? Are you conveying, you know, your values, your beliefs, and also who you are, what you do, but without being so sales pitchy. And yeah, it's so important to be current. You just never know who's going to take a sneak peek, right? I mean, I know I immediately go, okay, I just met, you know, Kathy, or I just met Neil online. I'm going to go to his LinkedIn profile. I'm going to check his Facebook out to see what is he sharing, you know, and that just tells a story, right? So thank you so much, Shannon, for sharing your passion for all things social media and helping your clients really nail their social media presence, and also how to utilize those tools, because that's what they're there for, right? To stay connected and engaged, but also give value. So, all right. Well, thank you so much, Glenn and Melissa, Theresa, and Shannon, for sharing those fabulous tips. And I want to go ahead and open up the floor for questions. This is your opportunity to get your questions answered, whether it's business strategy or messaging, social media, and or just overall health and wellness and fitness. So this is your opportunity. Go ahead and raise your hand, and then I will take a look at our beautiful screen here, and unmic yourself, and let's just create a nice conversation here. And I want to say, don't be shy.
Greg has his hand up. Greg.
All right.
Awesome. Well, thank you, folks. I thought everyone had some great tips, and I'm guilty of failing on some of those points, and it's a constant process to, for me, get rid of the jargon, even though I think it's straightforward. I love the progress over perfection. And one thing that I've tried to work in and try to be clear in my introductions is using like this art of business. So I talk about my audience and my results and my time frame. You know, like more whatever benefits, right? Instead of features. And hopefully, to speak to your point, Glenn, if I can't help them, they know who I can help. So I'm gonna keep refining what I say to be clear.
Well, here's what I was going to say, Greg. You're in a space that is so important. We hear constantly how important video is for LinkedIn, for Facebook. Carol does a great job posting videos. Videos, that's the business you're in. And to me, the challenge is to get people comfortable with the fact that, look, it's not easy to put together good videos. I get that. And that's the empathetic point from somebody like you who's an expert. It doesn't have to cost you a fortune to look good on video. And if you give me the opportunity, I will make you look like a star. And that's how you need to look. So any pitching that I would be doing from your perspective would be empathizing with people about how difficult it is, but how important it is to have really good video. And just going back to Shannon's point, those photos of you that are out there say so much about how proud you are about where you are. So Shannon's 1,000% right. We know you're not in high school anymore. It's okay. None of us are in high school anymore either. So own it, be proud of it, and make sure those photos communicate who you are. But, just getting back to you, Greg, to me, it's making other people comfortable with the fact that they might not be able to do video as well as you. Of course they won't. You're a pro at it. So give me the opportunity to show you how good I can make you look. And I think people will really understand that.
Awesome. I got a new little phrase or sentence to add to mine. Thank you.
All right. Anyone else? I'm going to say raise your hand, unmic yourself, and let's go. That was fantastic. Thank you so much, Greg. And Greg, would you mind putting art in the chat box? I got the audience results, but I didn't get the T. So if you don't
Time
mind,
frame, I'll put it in
time
there.
frame. Fantastic. All right. I'm trying to keep an eye out here on the screen. And I don't see anyone raising their hand yet. Okay, go ahead, Glenn.
Yeah, so let me go ahead and ask, Melissa, as somebody who specializes, I'm so impressed with what you've done with the golf courses, selling those businesses, pivoting into something else. I mean, that's something we all need to really learn from. As an entrepreneurial guy myself, what's the number one tip you would give somebody who's contemplating starting? We heard earlier Heidi said that she's just started a couple of businesses. Some other people are doing the same as well. What's a really great tip you would give somebody who's thinking about, and I actually can throw that to Theresa and to Shannon as well, a really great tip for somebody who's just thinking now, I'm feeling emboldened by what Melissa did and her success. What's a great tip you would give somebody to put that first, toe in the water?
So every decade I have leveled up. And so with that belief of knowing that any change that I make is a level up is the first start of that conscious language. Then it's the eye on the prize kind of thing. I am a big advocate of visualizing the outcome. You can do it through vision boards. You can do it through affirmations. You can do it through emotional feelings, whatever that looks like. When we were in the business with the golf courses, my intention was to buy a second one. And all I had on my refrigerator was the scorecard that had the clubhouse on the front of it. And every day, all day, that's what I focused on. I could see myself in there. I could see myself working there. And the same thing when I went back to college at 30 and I was working full time, 2 small boys. It's like, how am I going to do this in 4 years and work full time? Because I don't want to take any longer in 4 years because I'm not getting any younger. And my friend said, well, you can be 34 with a degree or you can be a 34 without one. And so it's all of that energies and then that progress over perfection, because I am a perfectionist, but now I am a person in progress versus perfectionism. So that to me is really where, when you align with that, if you have that glimpse of, hey, I would love to do this, that's when you want to have someone help build that vision even stronger. So all those stumbling blocks become your stepping stones.
And that really is true. Melissa is such an inspiration to to keep you focused, I feel like, on the things that you need to get focused on, because it's so easy, squirrel, to be going in 1,000 different places and to lose that laser focus. And having someone like Melissa really is invaluable, I feel like. So with Glenn's question, just to kind of throw it out there, one thing that I would say, and here I will share my screen again because I'm a big visual person. One thing that I really would say is, when you think about your social media, your personal social media, including your business social media, do not use social media as an outlet to vent or complain about things. And I include your personal social media on this because people will look at your business page, but they will also look at your personal page. So and there are many things in the world to not be happy about. So there's always things we can use to vent or complain, but just do not use social media for that. You're not going to change anyone's opinion through your social media post. So if you really want to, get your point out there, maybe, email somebody or private message them, but stop posting social media venting and complaining, because it's only going to hurt your brand. And when you think about your brand, you really have to think about you are your brand. So when you are in a group, and you want to like and follow and comment on other people's posts and other people's pages. So when you do that, that lets them know, hey, I'm interested in what you're doing. And we all love that. There's nothing worse than doing a post and not have anybody comment on it. So when you take the time to comment on someone else's post, you're giving them that opportunity to get to know you, right? And we want to do business with people we know, like, and trust. So, so at least 15 minutes a day, I tell my clients, comment on other people's stuff. Make sure that you're taking time to do that. And then be yourself. That's kind of that middle one. Don't try to be someone else. You might see some people on social media and think, oh my gosh, I love what they do. I want to emulate that. Get ideas from others, but you still need to focus it towards who you are. Because when you try to be something you're not, people pick up on that, and they're not going to feel as confident and comfortable with you. So don't be afraid to be yourself, because the biggest trend right now on social media is real. People want people that are real. Video doesn't have to be perfect. Your image doesn't have to be perfect. That's okay, because I'm probably going to connect with you more because I'm not perfect either. So I'm going to feel more comfortable with you. And all of that together is really what people perceive of you. That's what your brand is all of those things together. So when you really think about your social media and the presence that you have, that having someone look at it objectively is important, but have them look at your personal social media as well, because you are your brand, especially as a small business owner, and you need to think about those things sometimes in an objective way.
Wow, that was fantastic, Shannon. And you're absolutely right. We need to just show up as ourselves authentically. And it's that progress over perfection. And everyone wants to get to know the real you, right? And at the end of the day, if you are an entrepreneur, small business owner, they really buy you because they know, like, and trust you, and they love, your messaging, your values, and that all shows up in whatever it is you're sharing on social media. So that was fantastic. Thank you so much. And I just saw Katrina asked you a question in the chat box. What is your input on Facebook business pages and actual visibility? So
we all know that Facebook business pages, organic reach is just not great. I mean, it's like 1% or something like that. It's just sad. So I do encourage clients to post your content on your business page, and then tag yourself, your personal profile, tag yourself. And then you can go to your personal profile and click your activity log, and there's a little section that says, where you've been tagged by others. And it has two little check boxes. One says tags from friends and the other says tags from others. So if a business page, which is what you would have done when you posted your content on your business page, if a business page has tagged you, it'll appear in that other box. So you have to uncheck friends, check other, but then you can click add to profile. And what happens is then you have added that post from your business page to your personal profile, which your personal profile is going to get much higher reach than your business page does. It's just how the algorithm works. But the reason that I say tag yourself instead of sharing it is when you share a post from your business page to, say, your personal profile, you've in essence created two posts, right? So if I comment on the post that's on your business page, it stays just on that post. If someone comments on the post on my personal page, it stays just on that post. So instead of creating two separate posts, keep them as one post, and tagging your personal profile is a way to do that. So I've simply just added that post also to my business page and also to my personal profile. And now all of the likes, all of the comments are going to be associated with that one post, which is going to up it in the algorithm. So Facebook is going to say, oh, well, people really are liking this. It's getting some likes, it's getting some comments. Let me show it to more people. So organically, it will show your post to more of the people that like your page, more of the people that are your friends. The other big thing is to, once you've tagged your personal profile, then also share that post from your business page into some of your groups. So I'm a big believer in, joining groups that you feel like is a good community fit for your business. So it could be the neighborhood, that you live in. It could be networking groups that you belong to. It could be, a group like Beautiful Faces Going Places. And you have content that this group would benefit from or that they would be interested in. You will actually get 67% higher engagement by sharing your post into different groups than if you just posted it and that was it. So you don't want to spam groups, you don't want to be that person, but one or two of your posts that you feel like are a good fit for that group, share it into that group, and that's going to get more eyes on that content, more eyes on that post, and you're really going to be able to, again, increase the engagement as well.
One more question.
Yeah.
What's your favorite social media platform for marketing, or is that industry specific?
It is industry specific, but I would probably say still Facebook and Instagram, and I lump those together, even though I know that they are separate. But one of the main things I teach my clients is, they're already connected. You might as well maximize that connection. So on Business Suites or Facebook Creator Studio, I really advocate for them to schedule their posts so that they're scheduled out ahead of time, but to use Facebook Business Suites or to use Creator Studio so that you're not using a third-party scheduling tool. It's owned by Facebook. You don't get any ding in the algorithm. But once you've scheduled that post, then that way you can kind of focus your attention on interacting within the community, liking, commenting, which is the main way that you create your increase in engagement. And Business Suites, if you guys have that app on your phone or on the desktop version, but I like the app better. On Business Suites, you can schedule your posts on your phone for Facebook and Instagram at the same time. And they just introduced now where you can schedule stories. I'm super excited about that. So I just thought that was a fantastic new addition. So Business Suites, download that little app and then start using that as a way to connect your Facebook and Instagram, because that's still where you're going to reach the most people. Although LinkedIn is phenomenal, Clubhouse is phenomenal, Twitter's great. I'm not a big Twitter person, but it's great. Just find 2 or 3 that solid, good content that you're going to be able to put out on a consistent basis.
Fantastic. And those were great questions. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Shannon. And thank you, Katrina, for asking those questions. Let's see here. I got another question that came through that is, let's see, how to overcome limiting beliefs and ways to get support to overcome limiting beliefs. And as you all know, whether we think we can or we think we can't, we're right, right? And I think that's a Henry Ford quote. It's one of my favorites. And there is so much to be said about our belief systems and our levels of success in life, just in general. So I want to ask our panelists, what do you think? What do you have some tips on overcoming limiting beliefs? And would love to hear from you.
I'll jump in first. One of the things that I learned on my journey was the law of attraction is always working. So if I'm creating a story that's not in favor of what my outcome is, I start to create limiting beliefs. I start putting myself into the roadblock situation to where I have to learn to use, and I teach this extensively and help my clients with conscious language. It's about, are you using the negative energy words or are you using a more positive? So limiting beliefs for me is when you're telling the same story over and over again, maybe expecting the same, maybe expecting a different results like insanity, but it really is, we put our own limitations or we buy into what someone else is going to limit us to think. Oh, that's great, Melissa. You think you're going to buy a golf course and quit teaching? Oh yeah, let's see you do that. And then I come around and go, well, now I'm going to buy a second one 3 years later. So my belief was they couldn't tell me any differently. Going back to school, they're like, my dad couldn't understand, like, how are you going to do that? Well, I don't know. I have a dream and a passion and I'm going to do it. So the limiting beliefs, it takes work, but it actually is like flipping a script. Once you work with me, I won't allow you to go into that limiting belief story again. You start learning, but just even Google like conscious language. There's even a book on conscious language of how you're using statements that you don't think are limiting you, and they are. And Theresa knows this too, especially in health and wellness. We are so good at doing that. So I'll pass the baton to you because I know you can speak of that too.
Thank you. Yeah, great points there, Melissa. Thank you. It is, especially when I started on this entrepreneurial journey again, it's like we're adults. Like, what is a limiting? I believe in myself, like why I'm here. I'm not Santa Claus, right? So it's understanding like what that kind of thing is, that it was that teacher, in 5th grade that said that one thing that a teacher probably shouldn't have said to a kid. And Melissa, you and I as teachers, can totally have a soft heart for that. But teachers are human, or whoever said something about you'll never amount to anything, or whatever somebody said to you, that we hold on to that and take that on as our identity, even though it's clearly not true. And Carol spoke to that earlier, which I think is really beautiful. So then it's knowing, again, like, okay, realizing I've got this script in my head and then doing the work to uncover that. And it's a little bit of work, but once you understand the work, you're able to do it pretty regularly. And that's what I do with my clients. I build a thought bridge, because you can't just flip it. And if you still don't believe it, you're going to have that incongruency between your mind and your body still. So it's about bringing it all full circle to a thought that you believe. And then that's breaking down all those boundaries that are in your way, and just really lets you break through. Yeah. It lets you believe in yourself and trust yourself again. You already have everything you need inside of you. So, by realizing those limiting beliefs and then switching them, you learn to trust yourself again, so that you understand how to just access your own energy inside of you and switch that when you need to.
I love that, Theresa, and you're absolutely right. We all do have everything that we need inside of ourselves to achieve and accomplish whatever our heart's desires are, our goals, whatever it is that we want to achieve. You just have to believe in yourself, right? And yes, put together strategies and support systems and tools and resources, and surround yourself with brilliance. So thank you so much, Theresa. Let's see here. I am going to take a look here and see if we have any other questions before we wrap up here.
I'll just add
Yes.
in on The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks is a great book to read. I read that in 2011. I read it all the time, and it talks about upper limiting. It also talks about limiting beliefs, and it talks about living from your zone of genius. We have incompetency, competency, and excellence, but when you can hit that zone of genius. So that would be a recommendation. It's a real easy read book, but The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks to help with that.
Love that. Thank you so much for recommending The Big Leap. And I think what we're going to do is, does anyone have any closing remarks or anything that they'd like to add to our conversation here? I am all about adding value, and each and every one of you that is here today has something of value, your own gifts, whether it's from the entrepreneurial or just personal development, you have some value that you'd love to add that could actually help someone else in this room. So feel free to unmic yourself and share that value.
Hey, Carol.
Yes.
I think it was Natalie that asked a question that I thought Glenn could maybe speak to a little bit. And it's definitely going to add value for everyone here. But she had asked, what do you feel is a good way to balance business content? You know, when you are doing things like putting it on your personal page, so that you don't come across salesy.
Yeah, I saw that question, and I have to say it's really important to never come across salesy. The way that you want to come across when you're speaking, when you're posting, is from a place of providing genuine value. Because when you provide genuine value, people will see you as someone that does that and not somebody who is trying to sell them something. Because ultimately, we want something of value from you if that's something that you have to offer, but we don't want to be sold whatever it is you have. So it's not even a fine line. We can tell right away when the solar panel people, not to pick on them, knock on the door and they've got, you know, a ruler in their hands and they want to measure, or a tape measure, they want to measure our roof before we've even had a chance to say hello. You might want to start with some facts about how much money solar panels are saving other people in the neighborhood. And if you want more information, I'd be happy to stop back later. But when you start right away with that sales pitch, we all immediately begin to shy away from that, because none of us want to be sold. It's just human nature. We don't want to be sold. We want to buy when we want to buy it. So keep your information, adding value, adding information, and if the value is good, the information is good, people can see what a value you have. They will come to you. You won't have to sell them. That would be my tip on that topic.
And I absolutely agree, is that I did a little experiment at the end of last year, and part of it because I was sick with COVID. So, but I had read this article about what happens if you don't post, you know, on your social media. Will all of your business dry up? And I have always been a big advocate that that posting is important, and you want to be providing great value. But the most important component is the interaction that you do within social media. So it's commenting on other people's, you know, when, you know, post or videos, you know, or interacting, you know, with them on social media. And even though I didn't post for a period of time, I still interacted within my social media communities. My business did not dip at all, which was good. But it actually improved. It actually increased a little bit because I was spending more time interacting and communicating and commenting. And, you know, people see that, and maybe they had a question about social media in a group, and I answered the question, and they're like, you know, thank you so much. And then they're going to check out who you are. Now, of course, I live for social media, so I don't recommend not posting, but I did it as an experiment, and it really was true, is that the way to build your business is through providing value to people. And you do that through posting, but you also do that through interacting with them and providing that opportunity to help them. And that will grow your business, just like Glenn said.
Let me just add one other thing that was really interesting, Carol, that and Shannon, that I heard today on sitting in one of these clubhouse rooms with LinkedIn experts. One of the people in that room over the last 2 or 3 weeks has been posting every day on his LinkedIn page. But what's really interesting is not every one of those 21 posts had anything to do necessarily with his business or trying to sell. A lot of those posts were things about music or sports or human interest, which really start to round this individual out as a good person, as a person who was interesting and not somebody who was just selling, selling, selling. And his engagements actually went up when the majority of those posts were not business related. They were him putting good content out there about other topics that made him more human. So that's just really interesting to me.
I think this probably isn't new to most of you, but they equate it to like, going on that first date and trying to get in bed with somebody right away. Like you want to date that. It's about relationships. And sometimes I hate saying that, because if you acknowledge that I'm not trying to build a relationship with you only so that you hopefully buy from me one day, because that feels very inauthentic to me as well. But, I think people, especially the people here, that we create a business because we have something that the world needs. And we know that, we do come from that place in our hearts of wanting to serve. It's human nature to want to serve and help people, but to understand that is, really, sorry, I'm like, where am I going with this? But that's where we're coming from to begin with. And it's not about, I only want you for your body, or like, I only want you for the sale, right? And we see people do that. We have people spam us all the time, right? And it's like, how's that working out for you? Is that successful? So just coming from that place of service and a place of building those relationships, and that's, to me, is the fun part. That's the fun journey.
I think it's important for everybody to remember that it's not just the posting that you can't be salesy with. It's when you're trying to connect with people. And it's more on LinkedIn than Facebook that I get so many people, try to connect and say, I want to connect with you because you're going to do wonders and help my business grow. They no interest in me and my business. They just want me to help them. So anytime you connect with somebody, don't be salesy, be sincere.
Thank you, Bibi. All right. Well, you all are absolutely right. I just want to say thank you so much for joining us for our very first Empower Hour. If you don't mind, I have a quick question to ask you, and you can put that answer in the chat. For future Empower Hours, I would love to know whether you would like to have an extra half an hour to do a little bit of networking in breakout rooms. If you would find that of value, please put yes to an extra half hour for networking in breakout rooms, so that I can make that happen for our next event, Empower Hour, on, I believe it's May 19th from 12 to 1. It is going to be about Google My Business. So that is so important for us to on so many levels, to be found on Google. And so we're bringing the experts to the table regarding Google My Business. So if you think that would be of value, type yes so that I can make that happen for us next month. I want to say thank you so much to Glenn, Melissa, Theresa, and Shannon for sharing their expertise and giving us that extra value. This is what it's all about, right? Learning from one another and creating this space so that we can actually have a conversation versus just being pitched to. So if you found value, or if you want to explore these topics a little bit more in depth, please reach out to Glenn, Melissa, Theresa, and Shannon. Schedule a one-on-one and learn a little bit more about how they can help you, because they have different areas of expertise that they can help you with. So that would be amazing. And yes, Betty, thank you all so much. Oh, you're on mute, Betty.
I had a one-on-one with Melissa fairly early on in COVID when the Zoom world was opening us up. And I am a golfer, and I'm a serious golfer. I'm not a good golfer. I'm not a great golfer, but I'm a serious golfer, and I golf alone. I had to laugh because we talked about golf, of course. And I had to laugh. You're talking about women trying to go out there and do like men. I walk. And I walk past the men because I find to go out there in the foursome with their 18 six packs. And it's all about drinking. And if you go to Ireland or Scotland and you talk about drinking, they're like, on where? On the golf course. Drink what? You know, that's the 19th hole. And so I golf alone because I don't want the chatter. And so some of us women take the game very seriously. And it's really it's a strategy game between the ears. And I talk myself between shots, but when you talk about golf, my ears perked up because I thought I need to start to take a look at that. There are some women's groups that will only do 6 holes and go to lunch, and I'm like, stop it, just stop it. But love that. We should do another one-on-one and talk golf again, Melissa.
Awesome.
We should play again.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. I just want to say, please save the chat and connect with each other. This is what we're about, sparking conversations, making new connections, and creating opportunities for each other, for one another. So have a fabulous day. Thank you so much. And I can't wait to see your beautiful faces again. Omu, thank you for joining us from Nigeria. And Heidi from Finland. Marilyn, lovely to meet you. And Jamie, it was wonderful to see you. I hope to connect with you soon, and just want to say I so appreciate all of you being here today.
Have a great weekend.
All right. Take care.
Everybody.
Have a great weekend, everybody.
Bye.